Welcome. What we're going to do today is we are going to draw a wall with no windows or doors in it. What we're going to do is we're going to show you how to draw it on the paper that you can either do at home or you can do in class. So this is what we're going to do. So what you got to do is you need to look at your rough draft. In your rough draft, what you're going to have right here is you're going to have where all your windows and doors and everything else are laid out. If you notice, this is 20 feet, isn't it? But if we take a look on our problem sheet says we're going to draw a half scale. All right. So once we draw that half scale, that's what we're going to put down on the paper. So what we do is on this packet that I also gave you, it kind of gives you a layout of how that wall should look when we're all done. Now, some of you might be drawing a plain wall, but it might be your long wall. Some of your short walls might be all have windows or doors in it. So I want you to select one plain wall. Now, let's also take a look at the rubric. The drawing rubric will have one evaluation will be a plain wall. The other one will include a door and a window, but for this demo, we're only going to do a plain wall. So the first thing I want to do is I want to draw a line that's parallel with the bottom of the paper so we get off from the bottom of the paper. So I'll just take a ruler and draw a line. Now I also gonna give you a stud. This is a pre-cut stud. This will determine the width of our bottom plate of our wall. Now here is a completed wall, and this is what we're gonna end up drawing today, something like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a line. So now we can draw a parallel line to the line that we drew off from the edge of the paper. We're going to measure up the pre-cut stud in a couple spots so we draw a straight line. Now we're going to put the thickness of the top plate up here. So now we're going to take our ruler. We're going to draw this line. Now, don't be overly concerned if your lines are not drawn perfectly straight. This assignment is more about how the layout procedure happens, so when you go to build, you will build correctly. Now, to make sure that I start out square, I'm just going to pick a 2-inch mark right here. And this will allow me to draw a nice straight line down. Now, what is the length of our wall again? Remember, we're drawing half scale. And our paper right here, we're drawing this one. We're drawing half scale, so half of 20 is 10. So I'm going to measure over 10 inches and put a mark. Measure over another 10 inches, put a mark. So now I'm going to draw this line down. Now you see the parameters of the wall. Here's our top plate, bottom plate. Here's where the walls will begin and end. Now the next step is really, really important. If we think about it, we talked about in previous discussions about 16 inches on center is most residential spacing of studs in a wall. Now, to break that down would be rather just a lot more time consuming and more human error as far as measurement. So to make things easy for you, I chose to go with 2-inch stud spacing to represent the 16 inches on center spacing. So what we do is go line X every 2 inches. That's the first thing you have to do. Line X. Since the wall is going to terminate, I need an X on each end. Now, in order to make sure that we get our studs relatively straight, we need to go up here on the top and mark out line X every 2 inches so we have stud spacement correct. Now, there we go, there that is. Now, this is very simple wall, so all we do is take the pre-cut stud, which is 3/8 of an inch, and mark. And we're going to come up here and we put the stud on there correctly. Remember, the X represents where the stud's going to get nailed. The line represents where the stud will get lined up onto. This is no different than a regular house building. You'll do the exact same thing on a real construction home versus this model. Now, if we look at the end right here, it doesn't have 2-inch spacing. That is totally normal, and a lot of construction houses will have that. This does not have to be 2 inches because what is the perimeter of our house is 10 inches, which on his half scale for 20 feet. So now what we're going to do is, remember on this sheet right here, we also need to label the parts of the wall. The top one is the top plate. Bottom one is the bottom plate. And this one is a regular stud, regular stud, regular stud, regular stud, regular stud, regular stud. Now I have everything labeled. Now you will do this, you will bring your drawing up to me if you're in class. If you're online, what you'll do is take a picture of this wall, send it to me, and then I can grade it. This right here, if you bring the rubric, I will then grade according to how you drew on this first wall. Just as a reminder, line X every 2 inches, which will be represented in this packet so you don't forget. And you have this packet or you can find it online. If you have any questions about how to draw this wall, feel free to give me a call or just email me or just come up and ask a question. Thank you.